I think that you should be getting some leads here. You got to be building your list. And have you drove this to probably a page and captured leads and then sent them? You might have won. Hey, what's going on? Vince Reed here, founder of EBOOV.com, and welcome to this episode of Ad Roulette, where we critique ads and funnels with one sole purpose: to make them better, following this three-part framework that you see here on the screen. We follow the three-part framework for ads, and we follow the three-part framework for funnels. Now, here's how it works. The reason we call it Ad Roulette is because my team, what they do is we come to Instagram and we just get to scrolling. We get to scrolling, and I don't know if you know this, but every third or fourth post is an ad. So we check out the first ad that we see, and we just try to make it better. And then at the end, we pick a winner. All right, so we're gonna get 2 ads, 2 funnels. And at the end, we're gonna pick a winner, and then you let me know if I picked the right choice. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Drum roll, please. All right, awesome. All right, so we got the ads lab. I love it, I love it. All right, so following the three-part framework for ads, the first thing we wanna do is we wanna look at the ad messaging. Now, you have to understand when an ad pops up, okay, the first thing that you're gonna see is either obviously the image or you're going to see obviously the video. All right, now most of the time it's gonna be muted, so you're not gonna hear what they're saying, obviously if it's a video. So when it comes to messaging, okay, you really want to essentially capture what's going on in the prospect's mind with the thought process of they're not gonna know what's happening because it's gonna be muted, all right? So in this case, obviously I have no idea what this ad is about, but because the name of this handle is the Ads Lab, I can make an assumption that it's about ads, which is okay. It could penalize them later, but it's okay for this particular ad because, hey, what can you do? It's a video, he's talking, he's moving, and I kind of want to know what he's talking about. All right, now when it comes to creative, this is where we have to actually look and listen to the video, in this case because it's a video ad, but if it was an image, we would be looking at the creative to see what the image is saying, and obviously if it's clear, so we essentially push us to obviously click on the Learn More button. So what we want to do right now is let's go ahead and press play and let's listen to the ad and let's take a look and see what he's saying.
Knowledge transferred over to school. So we were the very first school group to help people run ads to school. Our group was around the day school launched their meta integration, and we've been obsessed with collecting insights from actual school community owners as they run ads. I take a lot of inspiration from the open source community. I love seeing people just actually sharing what's working and seeing people give feedback to each other. And so that's what we've created. We've got about 500 people in the group right now. And
all right, that's good. Okay, so what I can take from this ad is obviously it sounds like he's running a community for people inside of this school community, targeting people inside of school and essentially helping them with their ads. And I like it, if you go back down to the ad actually before we go to the copy, you know, what I like about this is that it's very organic, right? It feels like, hey, I'm just scrolling on Instagram. So I think these types of ads right now, they're working a lot better. Obviously, you know, you've got to obviously turn on unmuted to hear what he's saying. In some cases, if it's not clear, people could scroll by, all right? But now let's go ahead and look at the copy, all right? We want to look at the copy to see if it supports what we believe this ad to be, all right? So it's the Ad Labs. I started the Ad Labs because I was tired of taking Facebook ad courses that felt like scams. We were the first group on school running real ads from day one. We've tested everything from day one, accounts getting restricted to profitable about page funnels. And then he kind of goes on to explain his mission, and he's just kind of explaining his group. So it's really clear. For a cold ad, it's not bad because you know exactly what you're gonna get, all right? So it's not like one of these things where I'm assuming it's one thing from the video and the copy is telling me something different. He even gets into it's as little as $5 a day, or I should say whether you're spending $5 a day or scaling. So he's saying, hey, you know, we can connect and work with people in all ranges of in terms of their ad experience. Okay, cool. All right, so now that we've kind of gone through the messaging, so if we scroll back up, you know, obviously the Ads Lab, the handle lets me know that it's about ads. We got the video. Really not clear unless I press play and listen, and the copy was spot on. So let's go ahead and take a look at the funnels. Go ahead and click on the Learn More button. All right. So you can see he's taking you right to his school community. So unlike a lot of advertisers that you see today driving traffic to an opt-in page, I call them brick wall pages because they block 80% of traffic, he's sending traffic right to his school community page, which obviously you can see there's several images there. But the first thing we want to do is we want to see what the headline is saying, because that's the first thing the person is going to see when they click. You know, I know this is a school community because I've seen a lot of these pages, but we always want to assume that people have no idea who we are, people have no idea what what they're gonna see. All right, so when they click, the first thing they're gonna see is, okay, cool, it matches the handle, we can see it's the ads lab, and then the first thing they're gonna do is they're gonna look at the headline. So it says here, grow your school group with ads that convert, not ads that burn your budget. Okay, so go ahead and I guess you can click through some of the different images down there if you wanted to. It says the group is private, $99 a month, shows you how many members they have and then who it's run by. And then there's more copy below and it looks like a button. What I do like about this is definitely part of the funnel. Is the creative, and then obviously is it mobile friendly? But the creative is essential because obviously you have the different images, you have videos, people can kind of scroll through and see what it's all about. But the thing that I do like about these pages, if you're driving traffic to the actual website and not like a page, is the fact that it's mobile friendly. Really clear, the button is right here. Above the fold, optimized for mobile because 99% of the traffic is going to come from mobile. All right, so I mean, pretty good job. You know, we got the headline, it's saying what it is. Obviously we have all the different creatives. You have the ability to see multiple creatives by clicking the different images there. It's clear of what this is. There's no question of what you're gonna get when you land on this page. So I think this is a good start. All right, so let's go ahead and get to ad number 2, and then we'll see if the Ads Lab is going to compete and be the winner. All right, so let's go ahead and get the scrolling. What do we got next? All right, what we got here, let's see. All right, awesome. All right, so let's see who we have here. The Travis Stevenson. All right, awesome. So just like we do with every single ad, we want to take our 3-part framework. The first thing we want to do is we want to look at the messaging. All right, so remember, it's always going to be muted. So the good thing that I can see with this ad already is that we have the captions going on right in the ad, right? So if someone's scrolling, they don't press turn the sound on, they can at least read and see what it's all about. I'm seeing ads, I'm seeing, it's giving that it's going to help me with my marketing. Obviously, it's a start. If I were to sit here and just obviously read all the captions, it'd be clear. All right, so let's go ahead and play the ad and let's take a look at the creative of the ad itself and what he's saying.
Month in ad spend and over $1.6 million in ad spend in the last year and a half. This is the most successful ad I've ever had. Now, I broke it all down on the call right here. Now with AI, I can take the transcript from that call and turn it into a digital product that I can sell for $17, and I can sell that thousands of times every single month. I'm gonna show you in this video the entire process. So now I'm in a platform.
I love it. I love this ad already. I like that he's using demonstration, one of the best forms of marketing when you can demonstrate the tool. He's giving you a reason to click the button, guys. This is so important, right? He's showing that he's done it. He's run a lot. He's spent a lot of money on ads. He created this tool, or he's going to show you how to use it looks like ChatGPT to create either a product or some sort, and he's going to teach you how to do it when you click on the Learn More button. Gave you a reason, very clear of what you're going to get. I like it. All right, so let's look at the copy below. So this is really interesting. It's a tactic that I've actually used before in my marketing. Very little copy. It literally says this is the quickest I've ever gone from idea to sales. That's it. And I like it because he's literally like, hey, you want to know what this is all about? Click to learn more. Sometimes less is more. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the funnel. Go ahead and click on the Learn More button. All right, awesome. So this is taking you right to a VSL page. All right, the first thing we want to do in the funnel following the framework is we want to look at the headline. All right, so for anyone looking to build a high profit digital product, okay, so he's going to teach you how to build a product. The first thing that I can see here is this headline. There's a lot going on here. So what you want to do when you're, in my opinion, when you're leveraging a page is you want the prospect when they're clicking to be able to just see and understand the copy without forcing your eyes to actually read. I know that sounds crazy. So if you look at this page, you have to actually read all the copy. Average people are now making thousands with this new extraction prompt, allowing them to create and sell products in a day, using the same system that made me $65,694 in 23 days. There's a lot going on, but I have to actually read that to see that. So what I would suggest trying to do is shorten that to figure out a way to get the same point across in less copy, so I can just look at it and kind of figure out what he's saying. So it could be like this simple prompt allowed me to create a product that earned $65,694 in 23 days. Something a little bit tighter that's just there and smaller that I could see. All right, so we got the video below, the VSL. And I can see that this is optimized for mobile. We have the get instant access button right below. The fold, above the fold, I should say, really clear, and then there's some more copy there. All right, so there's a lot to think about. There were some good things that I saw with both of these funnels, but now is the moment of truth. It's time to pick a winner. Hey, now before we get to the winner of this episode of Ad Roulette, I know it's good, if you are running ads to a webinar or a VSL funnel, check out my members area inside my EBOOV account. I want to show you how we're getting 50 to 79% conversions on our funnels, driving traffic to regular webinar and VSL funnels, and how we're using EBOOV to do it. So if you click on the link in the description of this video, you can check out our quick VSL. It'll explain more about EBOOV, and it'll take your funnel game to a whole new level. All right, with that being said, let's get back to the episode. All right, so using our 3-step framework, okay, what we're gonna do is when it comes to ads and funnels, the highest score you can have is a 3 out of 3 in each section, right? So it's possible to get a 3 out of 3 from the ads, it's possible to get a 3 out of 3 from the funnel, and then we just tally up the points, and whoever has the highest point total wins this episode of Ad Roulette. All right, so we had the first ad here, the Ads Lab. I thought it was really interesting. I thought it was extremely organic. All right, sometimes, you know, you can break the rules. I feel like this is standing out a lot because it's against the grain of what you're seeing a lot of today, which is essentially people putting a lot of stuff on the video, and it's clear that it's an ad. This is one of those ads that seems organic. It doesn't actually feel like an ad, which can work, especially for the vibe that this guy is giving out. I like what I see here. However, when it comes to just grading this with the messaging, unless you're looking at the handle, you know, it'd be easy to scroll by. Like, so for example, if I didn't know this, if I didn't have the ability to look at the handle and just kind of like just condition myself to do that, and I'm not familiar with who this gentleman is, I could just scroll by this and not even know that it's an ad that could actually help me. So for that reason, the messaging is off, because the messaging has to give off something clear. So what he could do in this case is maybe put captions like the other ad on this, so I could obviously know what it's all about. The creative, I have no problem with the creative. I mean, because once I played the video, he was telling the story, he was saying, you know, why he created this particular community. It was extremely clear. I actually liked it. It was giving what it was supposed to give. And then the copy was on point. So for those reasons, because there was the messaging could appear to be unclear depending on who lands, I'm gonna go ahead and give this a 2 out of 3 when it comes to ads. All right, now with the funnel, all right, now, again, this is a bias from my own personal experience, right? This isn't like anything, like this could totally be converting. But because everybody that markets directly to the school community page is going to look like this, a person that's clicking it could have their own preconceived notions, oh, this is just a school group, and click off without even looking at the copy, without even clicking on any of the other images to really see what it's all about. On the funnel. So when it comes to the headline, I thought it was clear, but it almost loses a point automatically. I would prefer for it to go to like a separate page and then link to the actual school community. We actually have some members that are part of my company that have a massive, like I think over 12,000 people in their group. And what they do is they drive traffic to a different page first explaining it, and then the person has to opt in or click to get sent a link to the community so you can capture leads. Because everybody here, if they land, you're not getting any leads. So you're basically, if it costs you $2 or $3 for that click, that money's out the window. And we can get into that over and over again in terms of how that can hurt you. But for that reason, I think the page driving to the community, and it could be converting. I wouldn't personally do that, but it could be working for him. But the headline, grow your school group with ads that convert, it's following the framework. It's very clear what this is all about. However, I've seen these funnels before, and I know that you can switch where they land in the creative. So for example, if it was a different image here, it might not say that. So I can't give it a point for headline because that could actually change. But if it stayed on this, it'd be extremely clear of what it was all about. Now when it comes to creative, it's doing what it's supposed to do. I mean, it's saying, hey, this is a community you can join. It's saying the price, and it's obviously mobile friendly here as well. But because this can change, the headline can change, meaning it could be an image or a picture. It won't always say grow your school group with ads that convert. I can't give it a point for headlining because the creative can always be different. I can't give it a point for the creative. But I do think it's strong in terms of mobile friendly. You can't get more mobile friendly from this. This is very clear. It says who's running the group, how much it is, how many members, it's great. But for those reasons I just mentioned, I got to give this a 1 out of 3, which gives this particular funnel a 3 out of 6. All right. Now, moving on to my next funnel here. All right. So this funnel hit on all cylinders, I felt, from the ad. It had the captions going on, so the messaging was on point. The creative was on point. The ad was clear. I love demonstration. He showed the tool in action. and you know, people are gonna wanna click to learn more to go see how to actually do that. And then it was something different. I'm gonna give you some bonus points here. There wasn't a lot of copy, but it was clear, all right? Because the whole point of an ad, you guys, is to get people to click. Okay, that's the whole point of that. A lot of people are trying to sell everything in the ad. The point of the ad is to be clear so you know what it's about and get them to click because you want them to get to the funnel. All right, so for those reasons, I thought the messaging was clear. I thought the creative was clear. I thought the copy was different. Therefore, I'm gonna give you a point for that. So I'm gonna give you a 3 out of 3 when it comes to the ad framework. All right, so moving on to the funnel. The first thing I'm doing is look at the headline. All right, so when I'm looking at the headline here, the problem is it's a lot to look at, right? I mean, when I look at that, I have no idea what that says unless I physically force my eyes to start reading that. So when it comes to headline, although it might be saying the right things, most people are gonna see all of that stuff down there, and it's like they don't know what it's about, right? So you're already losing some people who aren't gonna actually sit there and read through all that copy. Remember, this could look perfectly fine on desktop, but 99% of the traffic, I should say 97, is gonna come from mobile. The creative, the video there is clear. Obviously, there's going to be more information about its product, and obviously, it looks like the button's above the fold, so that's great from it being mobile friendly. So many marketers, I can't tell you, they just fail to optimize for mobile. Last point I will say, if you do decide to edit the copy on the top of this page, I like the main headline, 1 line, and then the subhead, which is obviously your main head, no more than 3 lines. So I would try to shrink that down, almost like the bottom headline here where it says using the same system that made me 65,000. Like if there was just 3 lines like that size above, I think that's the proper size. But however, because the headline was just a lot to see, I think the creative was good. I think that it's mobile friendly. So with that being said, I'm gonna give this funnel a 2 out of 3, which gives them a grand total of 5 out of 6, which means our winner here today is funnel number 2. Congratulations, funnel number 2. Okay, you're hitting on all cylinders, 5 out of 6. I gotta say, these funnels are both great, and I was extremely tough on this only because of my own bias. So my man running the ads lab, I'm sure that's probably converting, but you know, I think that you should be getting some leads here. You gotta be building your list. And have you drove this to probably a page, a captured lead, and then sent them, you might have won on the pure fact that for me, this here, with all of the copy, that's like, because that's where that's all your traffic is going there. You might have had a shot to win this episode. But I'm sure I'll see more of your ads, and hopefully we'll catch you on the next one. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Ad Roulette, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Later.